So this is the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL, and in this episode, we're going to do a speed test comparison against the Galaxy S25 Ultra to see which one comes out on top and how they perform next to each other in various tests here. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and let's go ahead and just begin this speed test with a boot up in 3, 2, go, and see which one can get there first. Now, Samsung is using One UI 7 on this one. I'm not using the One UI beta. Google Pixel is using the Android 16, and you can see the Pixel does turn on first there. Now, somebody had said in my prior video that it takes a while to actually start running, so you see that right there. And let's go ahead and see that the Pixel is now in. Still, it was a little bit faster to turn on than the Galaxy S25 Ultra, but granted, the S25 Ultra does have a skin layered on top of Android, so it definitely has to load up a few more features, I feel like, than the Google Pixel. But the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL does turn on first. Now, it's just striking to see right away the differences in just kind of like the design. The S25 Ultra is a lot more square looking, but a bit bigger and a bit thinner bezels, it looks like, with the Google Pixel being more round and shiny with a slightly more comfortable size, I would say, just the way it's shaped in the aspect ratio. Let's get on to the biometrics now. Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and just check the biometrics, just kind of see how they look when you do unlock. So let's go ahead and unlock both phones, and you can see it looked like the Pixel went in first. Okay, the Ultra just didn't see me right there. Let's do it again. And one more time. And it just looks a hair quicker on the Pixel. The Pixel seeing my face a bit better. Hold on, let me move the mic so I can get more in frame here. I just want to try this again for good measure. We'll do it again. Yeah, the Pixel's camera, I don't know. They're not that much different. They're really not. Now, they both do have in-display fingerprint sensors, although I find the one on the Ultra to be not necessarily faster, but a little bit more accurate. It just seems to, I missed a few more times so far on the Pixel, but both of them are just fine. They both kind of like unlock at the same time, and you can see those animations are strikingly close in terms of that look. Now, if we take a look at the general operating system or just kind of the software here, man, I gotta tell you, I'm digging this moonstone with this wallpaper and this theme. It's just kind of calming. It's a nice little look. It's a really nice color, especially considering, you know, they usually just come out with porcelain or obsidian or something like that. So definitely I do like this color, but kind of just scrolling through, one thing I like about the Pixel experience is it's just very simple. You know, there's not a lot going on. You just kind of swipe up, you got your app drawer, and you hold down this key right here. You got Gemini right there. You can swipe over for the Google page if you want. Also, if you just swipe like this, you'll see recent apps up here. You can just Google search basically anywhere. But generally, it just kind of feels very, very smooth in everyday operation, and you kind of just get the hang of it, and it kind of becomes easy to remember how to use that phone. It's, to me, a little bit easier of a phone to use than the Ultra. Now with the Ultra here, we'll go over here, it kind of still has that same swipe, but the thing with the Ultra is you can like sort by different custom orders, and then it goes left to right. There's just a little bit more going on for this phone. Also up inside of here, you can see there's a lot more toggles up in here, and you can also customize them. But generally, this scrolls incredibly smooth as well. So it's really good to see that you have all the Samsung features now, but you also get, you know, a phone that still feels very fast even with all those features. So I don't really see either one being that much smoother than the other. They both tend to perform about the same in speed every day when it comes to just their general operating systems. Now, if we go to Geekbench 6 here on both, I do want to look at the clock speeds before we get into the test. Now, this is a TSMC made Tensor G5. You'll see that we do have 3.78 gigahertz on the third cluster as the highest clock speed on the chip. You'll see right there on the second cluster right there, 4.47 gigahertz. So that's like overclocked. This is Android 15 on this one, Android 16, but I don't think that's going to make a major difference when it comes to our actual performance. So let's get on to the app test. Okay, guys, so you can see everything is closed out for both phones there. No recently used apps. So let's go into calendar here. and you'll see loading at about the same clip. We'll go into clock. That was faster for the Galaxy. We'll go to stopwatch, timers, and you're just going to see a difference in UI, the way they look. They're just definitely different. But we're going to go into calculators on both. By the way, that was faster on the Samsung. You can download the Google calculator for the Samsung, which I actually have downloaded right here. So you can actually use both calculators versus just the Samsung one. But that was faster to launch on the Samsung. Let's go into Play Store. And you can see Play Store was a hair quicker on the Pixel. I do believe I might have, I don't know, the screen doesn't look quite as, it looks a little bit more like has adaptive tone or something. Let's go ahead and check that. Oh no, it wasn't on. Colors are adaptive. I don't know, it looks a little bit yellow to me for some reason. But if we go into some of these top charts or these different submenus here, you'll see both of them scroll very fast. So in reality, the Pixel in the real world everyday use seems to perform better than what you would think based on benchmarks. Let's go into ChatGPT. That was faster on the right. We'll go into Gemini, faster on the Samsung, but the overclocked speed of the Samsung is undeniable. The 8 Elite chip in there for Galaxy has an extra boost over other phones. You can see faster once again. And the thing is that the Ultra comes out so much earlier in the year than the majority of other phones, yet it seems to always have like some of the best performance and doesn't really get beat even by the phones later in the year. That's one thing I always like about the Ultra line. You can get the Samsung Ultra early in the year, play with it all year long. The next phones come out and they still don't always beat the Ultra. Let's go into Instagram. Now, yes, the new shiny object definitely makes people look, and that's probably why you're watching this video, because you want to see about the Pixel 10 Pro XL. But the bottom line is that the Ultra still outperforms in a lot of areas. Let's go over here to X. And if we go over here to the profile page here, you'll see that's pretty similar on both. If we swipe up out of there, we'll go into Groupon and let's get up out of there. I think that was the Pixel scrolling a little choppy there on the left for that application. We'll go into, how about oil change and maintenance? That was faster on the right. Yeah, the scrolling was better on the Samsung there. Let's go into Dead Trigger 2. And somebody did ask me the other day that was faster on the Samsung. Do you have your icons or your font size larger? Yes, I did blow up the display size a little. So if the text is kind of like not showing all the way, it's because I wanted the app size to kind of match this one over here. The app icons are a bit smaller on the Pixel. Look how much further ahead that was on the Samsung though, just for a simple Subway Surfers. So that overclock speed, think of it like a little turbo. It just gives a little boost to the Samsung over most other Android phones I've tried. None of them tend to beat this phone in performance. So Samsung is living up to the Ultra name. They are. And that's objectively speaking. This is not my opinion. You can see that it's faster right here in most of the apps that it's launching. And you might see that in the benchmarks as well. So I think the real competitor or the real challenger is going to be two phones to take down the Ultra. One is going to be the 17 Pro Max. We'll have to see how that thing does. And the second one, I believe, is going to be the next OnePlus phone. That phone might come close, maybe beat this phone, but they'll probably have the S26 Ultra soon after that. So yeah, Samsung's really been crushing the game, but you can see though that, I'm saying all this stuff, and then you could see in the test, you can see, okay, Nick, bro, that's not going to make a difference. Those couple of seconds of launching the application. And I tend to agree with you for the majority, but if you are actually going to push your phone, I've actually found myself pushing the Ultra pretty hard before, rendering out video, stuff like that. And then I noticed it was just faster than the competition. So I don't know if that was network dependent to get into the match there. The Pixel did take longer. It's probably just network dependent, looking for different people in the match. Plus they went to a different map. So let's go into PUBG Mobile. And something happened here. Did you see the icon just got smaller? Wasn't I just talking about that? How I raised the icons up? I literally didn't even do nothing. That might be a bug, actually, or that might have been a glitch or something, because I didn't do that. I didn't change anything. We've been live the whole time. This has been a straight stream right here. So you can see right there, that was faster to load PUBG on the Sammy. Okay, now they're back to large. That was very strange. Faster on the Sammy. We'll go into 3D Mark. Again, faster on the Samsung. Again, though, Pixel is very early here. It just came out, so it'll probably get a bit better performance in the future. But 3D Mark, it came on right as I was about to close it. It was taking quite some time. Let's go into Speed Test Net, and you can see right there. And one thing I do notice still is that anti-reflective properties on the Ultra still is beating every phone I've tried. And I'm not trying to be biased towards Samsung here. Pixel did really, really well here. I think almost no one would be able to tell the difference if you didn't put these side by side. But if you actually bought an Ultra and then you went to the Pixel, you might notice that it's smooth as well, but it is not quite as powerful as the phone you had. So it would be a hard justification to trade the Ultra to the Pixel. But if you didn't buy one and you're on the fence, it's going to come down to the software that you like more. All right, taking a look at the RAM management. Now, this does have 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is probably being mostly used for the AI stuff, but it helps you as well in this department because the phone can keep a lot of applications open, although for some reason Race the Sun had closed out. That was weird. Subway Surfers reloaded. This is very strange. Dead Trigger with the reload. And Groupon was open. X was open. I'm not going to go through every single thing here. That's just refreshing the feed. And Grok, Gemini, ChatGPT, Play Store. So a couple of those games were reloading. That was weird. Let's go ahead. It didn't do that in the iPhone comparison. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra now. Let me get that phone into focus. This one does have 12 gigabytes of RAM. And the animations to me look nicer here on the Samsung. That's my opinion. You can see that when it comes out, it's been holding everything just fine. And both of these do, yeah, the Samsung animations just look like butter. They're definitely smoother than the Pixels. They just look nicer. You can tell that Samsung's been listening to that. It's just the way they fly in. Plus, you can go on to Good Lock and you can go ahead and customize the animation down to the granular levels to basically however you want it. But the Pixel definitely lost here in that department because it was reloading some games. But the Samsung does have a more, it has a more feature-rich split screen option. In addition, you can also put pop view windows as well. So it's a bit better with multitasking. You can also bring that multitasking up to Samsung DeX, which will allow you to really take advantage of this phone, basically turning it into a mini computer. Okay, so here are the Geekbench 6 scores. Now, I took these before the test. You can see at like 810, 813. It's like 835 right now. You can see I got nearly a close score there on the single core, but the Samsung still with the win. But look at that multi-core, a pretty big leap for the Samsung Galaxy. So when it comes to Geekbench, Samsung's definitely winning big time there. If we go take a look at the single core, the S24 Ultra gets pretty close to the Pixel 10 Pro XL, but not quite the S25 Ultra. If we go to the multi-core, the S24 Ultra actually beats the Pixel 10 Pro XL, with the Samsung S25 Ultra blowing away the Pixel in the multi-core score. Where that will really matter is heavier, deeper, graphically intensive games, video rendering, photo rendering, processing, stuff like that, and possibly doing multitasking and using stuff like DeX. And they're just benchmarks, yeah, but the thing is that it gives you more headroom when you do have, for long-term support, when you do have a bigger score. It allows the phone to be probably more powerful when you hit like year 4, 5, 6, around there. Okay, and here are our final results for the Wildlife Extreme scores, and you can see an overall score of 3394 on the left with a 6171 on the right. Look at the average frame rate though. We're talking about 16 FPS better. So if I am playing heavier games, I'm going for the Ultra all day. And they kind of flipped here, the numbers. We have a 69 and then we have a 96 on the right. Both of them maintain the same battery throughout the test. But generally, the Samsung basically scores better than almost every Android phone out there with there being at least 31% of Android phones faster than the Pixel. So the Pixel is not priding itself just on pure speed. And if you see the marketing, no, they're not really talking about the fastest phone ever. That's not really what they push. Samsung definitely pushes the 8 Elite 4 Galaxy, shows the chip in the marketing. So they definitely push the performance. So if that's really the key thing for you, I think it's pretty evident which one is the faster phone. It doesn't mean it's the better phone for you though. That's why I make other videos as well, not just speed tests about which to buy and stuff of that sort. And let's go ahead and take a look at how fast they can launch these cameras. Now the cameras both have 100 times zoom. That's pretty nice. But let's see which one can actually perform better. We'll go ahead and hit that camera button and we see if we go ahead and click here. Shutter speed is good. The Pixel does have a little bit of a choppy zooming effect when it's going through here, especially if like you're zooming in and you want to zoom out fast. You're going to see that chop a little bit. But other than that, it does tend to perform well overall. The Samsung, a little bit smoother on the zoom, but yeah, it's definitely going to be down to personal preference, which one you like in terms of the actual results on board. If we flip them around, let's go ahead and take a quick selfie here. And you could see shutter speed going to be good. And both of them are going to frame pretty well because they're both 6.8, 6.9 inch phones. So they are definitely big boys in that department. So at the end of the day, which one to pick, final verdict? In terms of performance, I think it's pretty clear the Ultra is the better long-term phone. I think the thing though about the Ultra though is not everybody's going to like the shape of this phone. That's why they have the S25 Plus, but then you don't get the best camera. The Pixel is definitely going to appeal to people who probably like the iPhone-like design, but they want an Android phone. Also, the Pixel is going to appeal to people who like a vanilla Google experience. And really, Google does control what Android looks like in the future, so you tend to get the updates faster. I mean, you'll get 16, 17, all the Android updates quicker. In addition, some of the photos are going to be more pleasing to people on the Pixel. This is a tough call. It really is. It's more than just speed. But definitely, when it comes to the speed test, the Ultra is remaining the king in here. I just haven't seen a phone this year, or at least the ones I've been covering, take this phone down. I'm not going to put this against a gaming phone though, because the gaming phone is likely not in the same bracket or in the same category. So probably would definitely give it a run for its money there. Anyway, let's give a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you all in the very next episode. Have a great rest of your weekend. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.